All hail Macbeth! Hail to thee, Thane of Glamis! All hail Macbeth! Hail to thee, Thane of Cawdor! All hail Macbeth, that shalt be king hereafter! These are the words that three witches use to greet Macbeth on a blasted heath. Returning triumphant from battle, he just defended Scotland from rebels who challenged the rightful king, Duncan. Macbeth was already Thane of Glamis, but why did the witches hail him with other titles? The Thane of Cawdor lives, a prosperous gentleman, he said, and to be king stands not within the prospect of belief. It was no coincidence that the witches were on the heath, there to meet with Macbeth. They were there to tempt him with the promise of greater glory, and lead him to a bitter fate. For them, fair is foul, and foul is fair. As the play continues, we find out that the Thane of Cawdor was one of the rebels, a traitor to the king. He's put to death, and Macbeth becomes the next Thane of Cawdor, to reward his bravery and loyalty. But that isn't enough for him, or for his wife. All hail Macbeth, that shalt be king hereafter! Fate haunts Macbeth throughout the play. In the beginning, he cuts off the head of the rebel MacDonald, and sets it on a pole as a warning to other would-be traitors. Perhaps he should have listened to the warning himself. Goaded on by his power-hungry wife, he makes all the wrong decisions. He turns traitor himself, as well as murderer. He kills King Duncan in his sleep, and from there the murders pile up, one on top of the other. By the end of the play, Macbeth's own head is set on a pole. Maybe it's a warning to us, to be careful of the decisions we make, because they shape our own fate. Macbeth thought he was invincible. It was prophesied he'd be safe until Birnam Wood came to High Dunsinane, and that he couldn't be killed by any man of woman born. Since a forest can't move, and every man is of woman born, Macbeth felt secure in his madness. But when his enemies marched on him at Dunsinane, they camouflaged themselves with branches and leaves from Birnam Wood, so it really was coming to High Dunsinane. In the final showdown, Macduff, whose wife and son Macbeth had murdered, reveals he was from his mother's womb untimely ripped. His birth was by a caesarean section, and he was not of woman born. In that moment, Macbeth sees the fate that he has woven for himself. He considers surrender, but decides to fight on, futile as it may be. "Lay on, Macduff, and damned be him that first cries, 'Hold, enough!'" Macduff kills him, and is avenged for the murder of his family. The world is put to rights, and the traitorous Kingslayer is himself slain. We, the audience, see how Macbeth's meeting with the witches, which seemed coincidence, actually sealed his fate. Coincidence, and yes, maybe even fate, have played a big part in my own life. When I moved to Harwater 5 years ago, I didn't know anyone in town apart from work colleagues. I wanted to get involved and meet people, so I picked up the Star and had a good read. By coincidence, there was an ad in there from Harwater Repertory. They needed extra male actors for their production of Macbeth. I'd wanted to be in Shakespeare since I was at Auckland Uni. I saw some amazing performances there, including one that my friend Jose was in. I was very impressed that Jose got to go to the cast party, so I made it my ambition to one day go to a cast party myself. I auditioned for Macbeth and was given not one but 2 minor roles. Since then, I've been involved in half a dozen shows, but more importantly, through rep I made my closest friends in Harwater, people who have been with me through thick and thin over the last 5 years. You never know what coincidence and fate are going to throw at you. But that's half the excitement in life. Imagine if you knew everything that was going to happen to you before it happened. Sounds pretty boring to me. As Hecate said to the witches in Macbeth, "You all know security is mortal's chiefest enemy." None of us knows what tomorrow holds. Sure, we can make a pretty good guess. The sun will come up tomorrow. The price of petrol will rise. Politicians will do things we don't agree with. But none of us really know this for certain. Maybe the sun won't come up tomorrow. Maybe the price of petrol will drop. Maybe a politician will do something we like. When we get up each morning, We don't know if that day will be our last. But we don't know if that's the day we win the lottery, find our dream job, or meet the person we want to spend the rest of our lives with. To quote from George Hunter in his commentary on Macbeth, the difference between the sweetness of one man's life and the bitterness of another's depends on accidents, chance encounters with strangers, opportunities offered that we grab with both hands or toss aside or waste.